Okay, it is the time to state the characteristic of the feature for each subclass of the pronoun subclasses. Starting with the first subclass, which is considered it is a specific central. يعني إذا نرجع للdiagram of pronoun, it is central and it is specific. Personal pronouns. They are what? They are the subjective and the objective case of nouns. يعني I, we, he, she, they, it. The 7 subjective pronoun and its objective case. The relation of personal to reflexive and possessive pronoun is shown in table. هذا table that is previously discussed. Personal pronouns function. What is the function of the replacive pronoun? Replacement for co-referential noun phrases in neighboring usual preceding clause. هذه يسموها الanaphoric reference. What does it mean co-referential? In which I have the noun in the sentence or in the phrase or in the clause, then I have the pronoun referring to the noun. That's what is what co-referential. It is either it is in neighboring or usual preceding clauses. هذه يسموها co-referential اللي هي anaphoric. It is in which I have the noun, then I have the pronoun. John told Mary that she referring back to what? To Mary. She should wait for him. Him is the objective case referring back to what? To John. When John arrived, had a neighboring. When John arrived, he went straight to the bank. He referring back to John. This is the first function. It is a replacement. They have a co-referential replacement. Again, they can have what is called co-referent. Co-reference. What does it mean? When a subordinated clause precedes the main, the subordinated clause, the subordinate means the dependent clause, the clause in that cannot stand by itself alone. It is they depend on the superordinate to complete its meaning. As in this example, the pronoun may anticipate its determining co-reference, in which I have the pronoun, then I have the noun referring to the noun. When he arrived, John went straight to the bank. When he arrived, it is a pronoun. It is mentioned first. Then I have John, which is what mentioned later on, but it is what in the superordinate clause. The personal pronoun have two sets of case form. يعني هسه what is the function? It is either co-referential. What does it mean co-referential? In which I have the pronoun, then I have the noun, then I have the pronoun. And they can have co-referent function. What is co-referent? In which I have the pronoun, then I have the noun. The personal pronoun have two sets of case forms. Here subjective والobjective. Subjective, they function as subjects of finite verbs and often as subject complements. He hopped. هسه he, it is subjective, function as the subject. Hopped, the passenger would be Mary, and indeed it was she. She here, it is the subjective pronoun. It functions as the subject complements. So, what is the function? What is the syntactic function of the subjective personal pronoun? They are either subject or subject complements. The objective forms, what about the function of the objective forms? Are used as objects. I saw him. I saw him. Him functions as direct object, and it is what objective case. And as a prepositional complement. I'm going with him. I'm going with him. هذه is a prepositional complement. Especially in informal usage, they also occur as subject complement. طبعا بنقول it's me who broke the vase. It's me. Me, it is the subject pronoun, but it is informal. المفروض it's I. المفروض أقول it's I. Like for example, I saw her. Her, it is objective pronoun, function as the direct object. With them, it is objective pronoun, function as a prepositional complement. At least I thought it was her. Her, it is an objective pronoun, function as subject complement. You see, SVC. Who broke the vase? Me. Me, it is the elected. يعني it is me. مفروض it is me. But it is elected. This is what concerns the personal pronoun. Move to the second subclass, which is the reflexive pronoun. Reflexive replace only they have co-referential noun phrase. يعني I should have the noun, then I have the reflexive pronoun with the same finite verb phrase. John has hurt himself. John has hurt himself. Himself referring back to John. That is what co-referential. Mary intended to remind herself. Herself referring back to Mary. The rabbit tore itself free. Itself referring back to what? To the rabbits. But let us look at this sentence. Mary told John that she referring back to what? To Mary. She would look after him herself. يعني she would look after herself. يعني هي احتاجني بنفسها. She would look after him. تشوفون herself لأن عندي the subject here she herself. She herself. Him. She would look after him. Why? Because I cannot use himself. And أنا عندي the subject of that clause it is she. يعني المفروض either herself as a reflexive or what? Him as objective case. So this is anagrammatical. But if I have a mixture of persons, يعني first or second or third person is involved, the reflexive conforms to a first person. Or if there is no first person to a second, and depending on the first. إذا عندك first اتبع الفirst. If you don't have first, move to the second. If you don't have the second, إذا أنت عندك only third, يعني third person. You, John and I. أنت مجرد عندك I يعني صار عندك we. المفروض we 1 2 3 persons. See, mustn't deceive ourselves. You and John يعني there is no first person, so it is what? It is referring what? To the you as a plural. You and John mustn't deceive yourselves. The indefinite one has its own reflexive ans. One mustn't fool oneself, but other indefinite use himself or themselves. طبعا هذه بالother indefinites. No one must fool himself. Yeah. Again, there is what is called metaphorical use for the reflexive pronoun. اللي هي يعني in other usage for the reflexive. In a prepositional phrases expressing spatial يعني I have space, distance, usually between concretes يعني something touchable. The personal pronouns are used despite co-reference with the subjects. You see, the personal يعني مو بالreflexive, the personal. He looked about him. Him, by the way, referring back to he. Okay, to he. Why? Because the what? The meaning is special. Again, I have a prepositional phrases about him. Have you ever or have you any money on you? On you. نعم نقدر نقول because it is prepositional. You cannot say have you any money on yourself. It is grammatical. She had her fiancé beside her. Beside her, not beside herself. Beside her. They placed their papers in the front of them. Them, because I have this preposition in the front of them. هذه طبعا بالspatial relationship distance. But reflexive pronouns are often preferred when the reference is metaphorical and emotive. In the following example, the reflexive is obligatory. She was beside herself with rage. يعني هنا نشوات تشد من إزر نفسها. Here, though it is a prepositional phrase, but this reflexive pronoun is obligatory one. The meaning here is not real. The meaning is metaphorical, مجازي. Then I have a mix. طبعا هنا it is obligatory with personal. هنا obligatory with reflexive. But here I have mix between. You have the option to use reflexive or personal. There are, however, non-metaphorical examples in which there is considerable facilitation. She felt within herself or within her the stirring glimpse of a poor child. يعني it is something okay, non-metaphorical. Holding a yellow bathrobe around her or herself, she walked up to him. هذا المعنى هنا تماما not metaphorical, but still you can use the reflexive and the objective. In variation with personal pronouns, reflexive often occur after as, like, but, except, and in coordinated phrases. هذا personal. The personal in variation with personal, reflexive can occur after as, like, but, except, بالcoordinated phrases. For somebody, like me, like myself. نقدر نقول like me or like myself. My brother and I, or I can say and myself. يعني you can have personal or the reflexive. In a related but emphatic usage, reflexives occur in a position with positional mobility. يعني they can change their positions in one sentence. What? Depending on the meaning that I want to emphasize, to make focus. Say what? I've never been there myself. I myself have never been there. I have never myself been there. طبعا each meaning or each sentence has its own different meaning, but depending on the position of the reflexive pronoun. Again, within طبعا لحد الآن كملنا personal and the reflexive. Within what? Within the central specific pronoun. Move to the third subclass of the specific central اللي هو reciprocal pronouns. We can bring together two sentences such as John likes Mary, Mary likes John. What are they? يعني I can combine these two sentences together to have by using each other or one another. يعني what are the reciprocal pronouns? These two pronouns, each other or one another. They are similar to a reflexive pronoun طبعا بالstructure. John and Mary like each other, like one another. طبعا يقولون مرات يقول like themselves. What's the difference? يعني there is a difference between you say John and Mary like themselves and John and Mary like each other. In this example with two antecedents, John and Mary طبعا هذه two antecedent. Each other would be commoner, but where more than two are involved, one another is often preferred. طبعا يقول لي each other because I have two antecedents, but if it is more than two, it is preferable to use one another. The four children are fond of one another. Why one another? It is obligatory to not use each other because I have four. He put all the books beside one another. See? One another. The reciprocal pronoun can be freely used in the genitive. تاخذ الS genitive. When I say each other's, one another's, say the students borrowed each other's notes. The students borrowed each other's notes. Well, they take the genitive case. The last subclass of the central specific, which is the possessive pronouns. Again, they are 7, but they can function as either determiner or nominal. They combine genitive function with pronominal function. Genitive function يعني take my, her, my book, her book, their book, his book, its كذا, with the pronominal mine, hers, yours, ours. You see? In the later respect, they mean pronominal. The co-referential item may replace or they replace maybe in the same clause as with reflexive, or a neighboring one as with personal pronoun. John has cut his finger. هذا بالsame phrase. John has cut his finger. Apparently there was a broken glass on his desk. هذا بالsame clause وهنا بالneighboring clause. هنا okay, the possessive belong to two series. Attributive اللي هي comes before as determiner. Attributive comes before the noun as determiner, which are syntactically determiner, and the nominal يسموها they are either attributive or predictive. اللي هو attributive يعني determiner, predictive يعني nominals. Mine, yours, hers, theirs, ours, which are used like the genitive with ellipses. Mary's book, her book, the book is Mary's, the book is hers. Unlike many other languages, English uses possessive with reference to the parts of the body and personal belongings, as well as in several other expressions. He stood at the door with his hat. يعني referring to the belonging, my own belongings, my own things, parts of the body. I use the what? The possessive pronouns. Mary has broken her leg. Don't lose your balance. They have changed their minds again. Now they can يعني the definite article again, they replace the personal or the possessive pronoun. Usual in prepositional phrases related to the objects, or in passive construction the subject. She took me by the hand. هذه وين took me by the hand? It is what? Related to objects. Took me by the hand معناها she took me by my hand. Took me by my hand. Somebody must have hit me on the head, on my head قصده, with a hammer. هذا وين بالactive. لكن بالpassive construction I must have been hit on the head with a hammer. يعني on my head. هذا الماي referring back to what? من خدت الماي من I, the subject.